Welcome back to the Valley Up podcast. On today's episode, Chuck sits down with Marcus Kaufmann, PSJA North's head football coach. They talk about the powerhouse of a football program that's been built by Kaufmann and his staff at PSJA North. Brought to you by the law office of Daniel Gonzalez, we're bringing you the stories that shape the future of football in the Valley, one guest at a time. The Valley Up podcast is sponsored by...
Y'all think the insurance adjusters are just gonna write you a big fat check? No, they're gonna fight.
Y'all think the insurance companies are gonna let us just walk into the end zone? No, they're gonna fight.
Well, it's a good thing we got Daniel Gonzalez's playbook.
Ready, break!
I'm Attorney Daniel Gonzalez, aka Daniel's son. If you've been involved in a car accident, call me at 956-884-7113, and I'll get you into the end zone.
Welcome to the Valley Up podcast, brought to you by Attorney Daniel Gonzalez. I'm your host, Isaac Serna. I've got a very special guest here with us today. He is my former boss, he's my friend, and he is the head coach of the PSJA North Raiders, Coach Marcus Kaufmann. Coach, thank you for being here again.
Yes, sir.
It's been a pleasure. It's been good catching up with you. I'm excited because, not only have I worked with you, but it's because, you're coaching at my alma mater. And it's just kind of great to see the powerhouse that it's become, over the last 5-6 years, really.
You get to be there for the start of it. That was
Right.
pretty crazy years when we first got in there. We always bragged about that. Hey, I'm the fourth coach in 5 years when we first got there, and I just finished my 9th season now. Mm-hmm. So it's been a fun ride so far. Like when we got there, we attached to the old school. You were a perfect fit. It's that God puts people in your life for reasons. You were that guy to attach me to the rest of the Raider Nation, the guys that have done it in the past, because we used you pretty exclusively to go get those guys back out and come help us.
And I think right before I got there, you also had Jesse Balderas.
Jesse Balderas was there too. Yes, that's true. And he was doing the same type of deal. And Jesse put himself in one of those videos for us when we were trying to make a run. You guys did a pretty nice video for us. But attaching to that, to give the kids that it's doable. When we first got there, it was, guys, this is not rocket science. It's been done before. Let's just follow the blueprint. And so we went and started to follow the blueprint on being multiple on defense, multiple on offense, and let's go do this. And the biggest thing is passion. And play with passion, play with heart, play with desire, and go try to hurt somebody.
Absolutely.
Every play. And
that's the way.
That's the Raider way. That is the way. That's the Raider way. And once they figured that out, it's kind of grew from that. And right now, when we first started out and getting going, we had Coach Littleton was defense coordinator. We had one of the top defenses in the Valley in those first few years as we got going. He went off to PSJA Memorial, and we got better. Mm-hmm. We ended up with, instead of 2 good players that could play and hit you, 3 good players. In this past couple of seasons, we've had 11 guys. If you watch any of our football games, those 11 guys on defense, 11 guys on offense are going to play hard. And if they don't play hard, I don't have to say a word because they're going to say a word. The people on the sideline, the people on the field, they're going to self-manage themselves, and they're going to take care of it to make sure that you're going to play hard, you're going to put your body on the line, mm-hmm. or you're not going to play. And it's not me. It's the kids taking care of it for us. It's awesome.
And it's crazy because every few years you have a kid that's going to kind of be like that, When we first got there, you had it with 7. Or when you first got there, you actually had it with Rodell.
Rodell.
And then right after Rodell, then you had it with 7. And it's kind of like there's still kind
Steven and Jesse right now. We had Jason Montes do it on the offensive side the last couple of years. We have Ethan Guetta right now on the offensive side doing it, and he's going to do it for another year for us. The kids, when we we kind of bleed them dry, I guess is what you say. When we have one that can go, let's attach to him and let's get everybody. Let's get to this kid's level and go. But really, the last couple of years, we haven't had to do that. We've been so dynamic when we had Ale playing back there, doing his thing whenever he needed to. When he first got there, when he was playing smaller ball, when he was younger, he had to be the guy all the time. Mm-hmm. We had some guys. We had Isaac Gonzalez. We had Jack Lugo playing on that team. When he came in as a freshman, he didn't have to do everything. So he learned.
Right.
He learned. Let's distribute. Let's play quarterback. Let's just be a leader. And he learned in those moments to be a leader for guys that were already well established and were already leaders in themselves. And then whenever he didn't need to make a play, he did it. And later on, as he grew up and became his junior and senior year, when we were making those big runs, he was able to do it by himself if he wanted to, or get the ball to Ethan when Ethan was a freshman. Ethan was a freshman in those games.
It was almost like his his freshman year, you gave him the keys to the Lamborghini and you said, keep it 10 under the speed limit.
Yes, dude.
Keep it 10
Don't
under
get
the
it out
speed
of
limit.
first. Leave it in first gear. Let's go. Let's go.
And then his sophomore year, you kind of let him loose a little bit.
He got hurt. He got hurt early in that year. He broke his collarbone, and then we had the backup quarterback come in and go undefeated. Julius Arredondo came in and was undefeated the rest of that season. Did a heck of a job. We got in the playoffs. We went 3 rounds that year when they were sophomores and lost in the Alamo Dome. And then the next year we went 4 rounds, and then the next year again last year 100% we should have gone. We should have been in the semifinals or finals, and we ended up screwing that up.
When you kind of mentioned how when Ale broke his collarbone his sophomore year, it happened early on.
Yes, it happened.
It was like the 3rd game, I think.
It was like the 3rd play of the Vela game.
And
I ran a pass play. What was I thinking? I ran a pass play and he got sacked. What am I thinking?
and not only that, but I mean, it was kind of one of those where you still had to keep your team motivated to say, hey, we can still get this done.
Still get this done, yes.
Not all is lost. I mean, we lost a special talent for that period of time, but talk to us about how you kind of had to keep that team.
It was they were all worried about it because Ale was the guy at that point. His freshman year, he didn't have to be. His sophomore year, he was the guy. He was the guy. We had Jason playing fullback for us. We really didn't have I don't even remember who the running back was at that time. I think Isaac was still there. So we still had some parts at that time. So we went back, instead of running as much spread quarterback centric offense, we went back into the 2-back sets and started running that stuff a lot more with Jules. And Jules ended up, after about a week or two, didn't miss a beat with that kid. He was completing 80% of his passes. He started competing for the starting job.
Right.
We started when Ale came back. We were switching series because Jules did such a good job. In his senior year, I thought Jules might take it, so they battled for that starting job their senior, and then it ended up being we needed a tight end, and Jules was an awesome tight end too. He was an awesome tight end.
I actually want to take credit
for
him being a tight end.
Yes, that's right. You were coaching when he was super young.
But what's it like now? Because you had 18 kids, Coach, that you got signed up to play at the next level.
They were picking them off like crazy. We had a bunch of them go to TLU. We had the one we were pumped about was the one that went to Gallaudet over in Washington. We had a hard of hearing kid. One of the kids that had the hearing aids and stuff like that, Jose, he ended up going over there and he's playing. He's actually getting off there. Mikey's playing a bunch right now. He played a bunch in some ball games. Looks like a dog over there at TLU. We had and a bunch of those other guys were getting in there playing some, but the guys who are actually getting on the field a bunch are guys that we didn't expect when they were sophomores. I mean, they were not dogs. They made themselves dogs. They got in the weight room and they worked hard and they followed the lead of the other guys that were ahead of them, and they made themselves into dogs. Just pretty much like they do. We start a bunch of them early, but when we start them early to throw them in the fire, it's like when that baby, you get them and try to teach them how to swim. Are you going to practice it all day long? Or are you just going to throw them in the pool? We're just going to throw them in the pool.
Right.
Throw them in the pool, let them go. So even this year we had 7 freshmen on the varsity playing. Like we were talking about Mark Quintanilla's boy. He played corner a bunch for us this year and did a good job. And he actually was one of those that surprised me. He came in there and played a position that he's never played for and played as a freshman. I mean, the kids are they're growing up and they rise to the occasion over there.
With guys like Danny and Dante Garcia, Joe Derek Vecchio, and Ale Aparicio kind of being part of that first recruiting class for UTRGV.
They were part of it, which has ended up being good for the Valley. I mean, I think Travis did a good job of branding it. Because I was worried about it. Are you going to be able to build a big, huge team with Valley kids? It's going to be really hard. You're going to have to get some of those kids from up north. He's going to do that with the portal coming up pretty soon, probably. But he did. I mean, he brought those kids in, got them going, got the culture right. And that's the biggest part. Get the culture of hard work, hitting people in the mouth. Whether they're going to make it or not, it's irrelevant right now because they're going there and they're learning and they're building a program. They're getting life lessons from what they're doing right now. I'm not big on getting over there and I'm going to be an NFL football player. I'm not big on that. I'm not big on getting life lessons, learning how to deal with situations.
Absolutely.
We use football as a microcosm of life. We use football situations and football as analogies for when life's happening and when you're having a problem in life. And I bring it right back to football. We had a kid have trouble. He didn't want to leave. He was embarrassed about something that happened. I was like, so you're going to you just fumbled the ball and you're just going to sit on the bench? You're not going to get back in the game? What are you doing? And it's a great way to work back and forth to teach kids about life. I mean, you go back when you were growing up, dude. A lot of the pressure situations that you had growing up, going to college, going through school, or in business, or with your wife or girlfriends, there's not much more of a pressure situation than everybody watching you on a football field Friday nights, especially at Raider Nation, because everybody's watching at Raider Nation and everybody's critiquing if you do it right or wrong. So there's no more pressure than that. So when you get into life and you have pressure, it's quick for you. It's quick for you, and you keep going. Those kids that get in those situations do well in life because they're handling those situations.
So for you, how does the culture now with Raider Nation, How does it compare or differ to when you first got here 9 years ago?
Be honest, when I first got there 9 years ago, it was a lot about me. It was a me game. Everybody felt entitled to be there. Coaches, kids, everybody, they were entitled. I felt like I'm here. I need to be here. I earned this. I don't have to earn it because of who I am. Those type of deals. And we flipped that. I went back to. It wasn't like that when Ordy was here. It wasn't like that when Bruce was here. Why is it like that now? And within 4 or 5 years, it'll crash and burn pretty quickly.
Right.
Because from Bruce's last season there, it was only 4 years. 5 years, and I was there, and it was a completely different landscape with the kids. Everybody had their hands in the cookie jar trying to tell you what you were going to do. The kids, why am I not playing? Why am I not getting carries? You didn't earn them. Why would you think you'd be getting a carry if you didn't run the ball in practice? I don't understand. Yeah. Now it's like that doesn't happen anymore. The kids, when they're out there on the field, they earned it, and everybody knows they earned it. Everybody knows who the dogs are. And I want to be a dog, but I'm not a dog yet, and I'm working my way that way. It's like, who's my favorites? Yeah, I have favorites. My favorites are the kids that work hard. Kids that work hard that are gonna hit you in the mouth. Yes, I do. And I'm not gonna shy from it because it's not a bad thing. I mean, those kids are going to play. Yes, the kids that are playing are my favorites. The other ones are working to get there, and I'm going to try to. Hey, you want to be one of the favorites? Come on, get on the road and let's go do this. And if you don't want to get into this, and you want your mom or your dad to complain about it, well, you're never gonna get on the road because that's not gonna do you any good running for help. Go figure it out and let's get to work.
And I mean, that's even kind of like business, right? If I have an employee, he's always on time, he's working hard, he'll work extra shifts. Why wouldn't he be one of my
That's the guy you talk to. That's the guy you go to for help.
I know I can
That's
go
the guy
to,
when
I
you
know
need
I can
something.
depend on him.
100%.
Absolutely.
Exactly. That's a microcosm of life again. Right back into that world.
You know, you like we talked earlier. You know, you were a quarterback. You know, and you've kind of said, you know, your foundation is kind of behind the run game because you know you feel it kind of. You're able to control basically the whole tempo of the game, not necessarily just clock management, right? But just the whole tempo of how the flow of the game can go. You know, what are some of your biggest concerns, I guess, when you kind of go into game day?
If we can run the ball, because if we can't, we're in trouble. But there's so many ways you can run the ball. I mean, a lot of times I talk about if you just have the illusion that you might throw it. As long as that safety's not, I'm going to say stuff on video here, but as long as that safety's not screaming downhill at the snap, if he's reading it all, if he's worried about that pass at all, I can still run the ball. If you can put nine guys in the box, I'm excited because now it's not going to be an 8-yard run because the safety ran us down. It's going to be an 80-yard run because he's going to have to run from the other side of the field to go get to us. So I get excited when you put 8 or 9 guys, 10 guys in the ball. You remember when you were there,
yeah.
Coach, there's 10 guys in the box. We can't run the ball. We're going to
me.
score. Watch. It's going to be a touchdown now. They just screwed up. I mean, there's certain ways you can play it where as you do it. So it's fun. It's fun seeing the different deals, and as the older I've gotten, the more clearer things become. So it's a lot harder you have to work. A lot less hard. I guess I don't even know how you would say it. A lot less hard you have to work because you can see it a lot better. When I was there, we were just running the wall. Now, 8-man front, 9-man front. Okay, we're going to hit this gap. Something looks different than what it was. We're not going to go there. We're going to go here. The quarterbacks do a great job. Isla did a great job when you were there. Randy Reyna was there. He did a good job when he was going through those of checking. Those guys get at the line of scrimmage. We're able to run the football pretty much at most fronts. And if we can't, we're going to throw it. It's in the valley for sure because I feel like down here athletically we match up pretty well. But when you get into those next rounds, I hear all these guys on podcasts, on all these deals talk about, hey, when they get to the next level, they're going to have to throw it around. All they're going to do is in the spread is man you up. Yeah. Man you up. Their athletes are better than our athletes, and they're going to. And then now what are you going to do? You're stuck. They man you up and bring everybody. Okay, we're gonna have a lot of time, and we're gonna get our faces kicked in and get beat 70-0 is what's gonna happen. So unless you have those dogs, which a lot of times we don't down here, but if we do get them, we're gonna be in that world. And right now I think we have them. I think we can go 5 wide or 3 back, 2 tight ends, and be able to run either offense at a high level right now. But you have to know what you can do against a certain competition. You're not gonna go out. I'm not gonna go and go 5 wide against a Westlake or something like that, where they're just going to pin their ears back and go. You can try to shorten the game, get some first downs, which we did for a little while. We played with them for about 3 minutes when we played Westlake in the playoffs, but we were trying to keep the game closer. We held them to 49. We held them. I mean, in the next ball game, they scored 60 in the first half when they played Vandergrift. So hey, we did a great job. But that was the plan. I mean, there's certain plans you have to come up with to win ball games, and sometimes that plan is that road to win the ball game is. Through 5 lanes, super high when sometimes it's a razor blade. And you have to find out what it is to get there. And in my mind right now, what we need to be doing is running the football. As many running backs as we can get, as many gaps as we can get to win as many games as we can get. That's my 5-lane super highway right now. It may change because when I first started, it was 5 wide. I was all about it, throwing it all over the place. RPO, not really RPO, it was pre-step RPOs back then in the 90s, but we threw it all over the place. Threw it for a lot of yards, but I didn't win 14 games, 13 games, 12 games, 10 games like we've been doing the last couple of years.
Right.
That didn't happen.
The Valley Up podcast is sponsored by.
Y'all think the insurance adjusters are just gonna write you a big fat check? No, they're gonna fight.
Y'all think the insurance companies are gonna let us just walk into the end zone? No, they're gonna fight.
Well, it's a good thing we got Daniel Gonzalez's playbook.
Ready, break!
I'm Attorney Daniel Gonzalez, aka Daniel's son. If you've been involved in a car accident, call me at 956-884-7113, and I'll get you into the end zone.
We've been coming to On the Grill for years, and it's always a filling and unforgettable dining experience. From the iconic fajitas to the irresistible big-ass burgers, expand your palate with the Chipotle shrimp pasta. The award-winning fajitas are traditional, delicious, and perfect for a family or all by yourself. Join us, the believers in Mario, and On the Grill as we celebrate all of his hard work. Visit us at 1201 South Jackson Road, Suite 7 in Pharr, and our new location in Edinburgh. Discover more at On the Grill. You know, and I've always felt, you know, like especially with your system, that I don't want to say the simplest thing, right? But that it's pretty simple for a quarterback to be able to kind of gain his confidence because of the trust that you kind of put into them, the preparation that you're able to kind of, I mean, you bombard them with a lot of info.
Yes.
And they pick it up.
Yes, of the quarterbacks that we've had go play at the next level, that we've had a lot of them, and all of them get through their 4 years and stay at the quarterback position. Ale didn't because he wants to play. I mean, you can go to college and be on the team and get the snaps and play scout team, get there and get your degree, or you want to get on the field.
Right.
Then you're going to move positions because that becomes an athletic ability. But knowledge of the game, they're going to be able to go and play anywhere. But from knowledge of the game, the linemen, the offensive linemen, I've had some come back and go, Coach, I went to my JUCO and we're playing and they have no idea what they're doing because I mean they know what they're doing, but the terminology, they only have 2 blocks. They have 2 ways to do something. That's it. You played for Orlando. There's multiple ways to block something if you have to block it. If you're not big enough, you're not going to be able to handle that guy man to man. What are we going to do? Just get our butts kicked and lose the ball game because that guy's bigger and better than me? No, you're going to come over. You're going to help. We're going to double. We're going to figure something. We're going to figure it out and figure it out now on how to get this thing done. If we don't, we're going to get our butts kicked, and we're not going to get our butts kicked. We're going to figure it out, and that's their mindset right now.
Right. You know, you've got the pretty good coaching lineage, right? We talked about how you know, Will Littleton started off with you, and now he's doing great things over there at Memorial. And he himself, he brought on, you know, Rodell, who's also a former player. He also has Brandon.
Oh, that's right. Brandon's over there.
He's got Brandon over there helping him out.
The corner for us.
And so, you know, how does it kind of feel seeing these guys coming back, and not only coming back but looking for you guys?
I'm surprised. No. I figured they'd hate us. I mean, because we are hard on them.
Yeah.
We help them out. We're not the nice pat you on the back timeout fathers. We're the fathers that are going to get the belt out and whip you, pretty much is what we are. So them coming back is actually very exciting for me, that they're coming back and want to be a part of it, that they believe in it that much. Rodell played Division I football. I mean, a lot of people don't talk about it because he went the long way, but he played Division I football, and he's over there coaching his butt off. He called the back end, and he's been out of college, 3 years? And he's calling the back end this past season over there on defense. So he's doing a great job. Brandon's coming through. He's doing a good job growing in the system. But I mean, it's awesome for me that they actually want to come back. I'd be running away from people like me. I don't have anything to do with you. You were mean to me.
You know, I've always known you as a man that does not like to talk about their personal accolades, so I'm going to bring it up anyways. But you actually have the record, you know, for the most, I mean, consecutive. You have 28 consecutive regular season wins. And I know you've never been somebody who really cares about regular season wins. You care about playoff wins.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that is still an accomplishment in itself. That's not something that is easy to do. You know, you've always been somebody, if you want to win Friday, you have to win Monday through Thursday.
Yeah, and again, like these kids the last 4 or 5 years have done that. They compete a lot. Like my quarterback now, he played a scout team last year and a scout team the year before. He got to get into a bunch of ball games last year because we in the third quarter, fourth quarter of the ball games. He played a bunch. Every time he got into a game, Coach, that was way easier than practice. He said the games slow down so much in the games than they were in practice, and we try to make that happen because if not, you're going to get surprised in the ball game and you're going to lose. Which is we lost 2 ball games this year by a total of 4 points between the two. We missed a field goal, which we should have been in that situation. I should have called a pass play at the end of there and scored, but I was trying to run the clock out. But we missed a field goal and lost, and then in the playoff game we missed some extra points and had to go for 2 and ended up losing in those situations. And those are situations where we have to. It's hard to emulate that in ball games in the Valley sometimes. I mean, we're trying to make games situational, so when we get in a situation late in the season, we've been in that situation before, and sometimes with the way things are work out and the way other people think things need to be done, you don't get those situations, so you have to do them in practice. When we get into those deals, we're trying to make situations. Okay, it's 0-0, we're going out to the field, get 3 first downs fast,
right?
Boom, 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 and we're telling that as they're going out to try to get going. There's only there's 20 minutes left 10 minutes left on the clock. We're telling them there's only 2 minutes left on the clock. We got to score now. That's what we're trying to get them to make it situational because
Just
sometimes
have the mentality
because
ready.
sometimes you get in those situations where you start falling back. And we're trying to stay on the level and level up every single year, every single ball game, and it's real hard to do sometimes when you get into situations where you got to play.
Yeah. You know, we felt like especially with Orlando, right? He kind of maybe started, the bar there. I mean, I feel like you have raised that bar tenfold, but with now that there's UTRGV, do you feel like maybe that bar's going to have to be raised a little bit higher?
Yes, absolutely. Everybody in the Valley, though. Everybody in the Valley's raised their Brownsville beat us, and then they won their 5, which I felt like should have been us. Wesco East almost won in that second round game. The games moved to the second round for those big time schools, but only one or 2 guys got blown out, but everybody else played tight. They played tight ball games. Almost pulled them out and loses at the end. So we're close. We're close. And it's not like, you can't beat a San Antonio school. Well, none of the rest of the San Antonio schools beat those schools either.
Right.
They're 10-0 for a reason. We're 10-0. We're playing each other. We happen to lose, but they beat everybody in San Antonio. And that right now we're starting to play with those teams that are 10-0 and 9-1 over there in that area. So the entire Valley has actually raised its level of play.
Yeah. So what does the future look like for the next few years for PSJA North?
Again, we talked about earlier. We started 7. We didn't start 7 freshmen. We had 7 freshmen play a bunch. We had a bunch of sophomores play. We were actually very young. All of our core kids are back next year on offense, and we're losing 2 big dogs, Steven and Jesse. They're 2 of the best linebackers I've been around. They're
You've been around some good ones.
Yeah, they're crazy good football players. We're losing those 2, but we have a plan to figure out how to. We had some kids play again, like we talked about. Kids don't play. You don't play the whole game at Raider Nation. You're playing. What Brett does, he does a good job. He goes entire defenses. In the second half of ball games when we get up, he goes the first drive is 1s, second drive is the 2s, the third drive is the 3s, and its entire 11 gets pulled out and goes. So a lot of kids are getting a lot of playing time in game situations on the varsity level. So they all have experience doing it. So I really think we're gonna be better than we were last year for sure. For sure that, and it depends on how far we go. The region's not what it was when Ale and them were playing. It's not. We have Smith Valley in our district. We don't meet them in the semis. But the way we played Flower Bluff, we should have beat Flower Bluff. We ended up losing that ball game, and they beat Piper. And Piper was the number 1 team in the region at the time when they beat them. They ended up losing to Smith Valley, but I felt like it's a matchup problem when they played Smith Valley on their front. Their fronts didn't match up well with them. So we're right there. Right this year, I think we were one of the top 3. We were ranked third behind Piper and Smith Valley in the region, according to a lot of the statewide polls. So I think we'll be better next year. And at Flower Bluff, we have an idea what they're going to be like. That's the first time we'd ever seen them play or been around them, and we were playing there, and that's a pretty tough environment to play in. And we played with them. I think we beat them pretty much the whole ball game except for the end of that one. Just like we did against New Braunfels. We lost to New Braunfels, beat them the entire ball game except for the very end. So we just got to learn how to finish, which playing a bunch. The only way to learn how to finish is to finish. Right. Finish some ball games. And so that's what we're talking about right now this year. This year about that. This spring, this fall, about the same stuff with you. Same type of deals, except a little bit more technical with it. We went to the whole generalized, we got to get attitude right, we got to go this way. When you were there now, that's all right. Now we're doing, okay, what they mess up over here, and we got to find where they're screwing up, because this group of kids this year did a great job of being led by the previous groups and taking it to the next level on focus and discipline. They did a great job.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I don't want to get too many secrets pulled from you. I know you got to keep some secrets so that you can keep that program booming.
Yes, sir. Hopefully we can keep it going, and really not where we want to be either. We've been disappointed. I mean, unless you win a state championship game, you're not going to be happy. But we've been disappointed pretty much every season we've gotten through. I mean, we went 4 rounds and lost to Corpus Christi. We should have won that ball game. That was a last-minute loss. So it's we got to figure out how to win close ball games. And right now we have not done a good job of that. So we just try to win it by as many points as we can. So that's what we're going to be working on, is the focus when everything's tight. So we got to figure out how to emulate that in practice and emulate that in off season. So we're going to figure it out.
Well, I mean, I hope you know that you've got not only entire Raider Nation, right, but you've got a lot of the old alumni that are just thrilled with what you've been doing with the program and just kind of making it the name that it's become today.
It's great. I feel like since the last probably 8 to 10 years with Lupa doing a great job over there at PSJA, PSJA ISD is not looked at the same way as it was 10 years ago when I was in the McAllens. There's I don't know if it's a fear, but it's a respect. It's a respect. Orlando's doing a heck of a job. I'm thinking he's probably the best AD in the Valley on being able to combine and get everybody working together, telling me no. It's really hard to say no to me because I'm going to figure out, okay, you said no to this, I'm going to figure out this. I'm still going to try to figure out what I'm getting. And he blocks if it's wrong, it's wrong. I'm trying to figure out how to get stuff around him, and you can't do it. I mean, he's doing a great job of controlling when I try to go overboard. So then he gets me in the office and lets me know that's not going to happen. Yes, sir, not a problem. We're going to go on the next way. You're hurting your sister schools is the biggest deal.
And it's funny you mentioned that because when we had him here, he was saying the exact same things when he was the head coach and he had to come to something with Gil Garza, and Gil was like, "No, you can't do it that way. You can't do it that way."
That's what he's doing. He's doing it
So
to me
he's
now.
having to do it
Stop
to you
it.
now.
He's mad at Gil. Come on, Orly, let me go. Let me run. But he's doing a good job of keeping it where I stay out of trouble. Really seriously. And he's seeing it because he's been around it before. As soon as he stops me, I go, and then 2 weeks later I go, "Oh, that's why he doesn't let me do it. Don't let him see this." But I see it. Most of the time I'm seeing it. Sometimes I still don't agree with it, but most of the time I see, okay, that's why he's doing that. He's pretty much protecting me from myself sometimes. So I get too excited sometimes, and I just want to, everything's football, and no, calm down. There's still life you have to worry about.
A little bit. Coach, it's been a pleasure. I can't thank you enough for joining us, and I hope we can get you back again soon, and we want to bring back some of the guys like Seven and get those guys.
Seven, Rodell would do a great job. I mean, those guys have been in front of a camera. Remember, push them in front of a camera and talk. No, I don't want you. Well, you're gonna look stupid.
We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that.
You're gonna figure it out. You're gonna look stupid if you don't figure it out. So
for sure.
Throw them, throw them in the water. Let them go swim and figure it out.
Best way to do it.
Yep.
That's going to do it for us here on the Valley Up podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I want to thank our guest, head football coach for PSJA North Raiders, Marcus Kaufmann, for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Valley Up podcast.
The Valley Up podcast is sponsored by...
Y'all think the insurance adjusters are just gonna write you a big fat check? No, they're gonna fight.
Y'all think the insurance companies are gonna let us just walk into the end zone? No, they're gonna fight.
Well, it's a good thing we got Daniel Gonzalez's playbook.
Ready, break!
I'm Attorney Daniel Gonzalez, aka Daniel's son. If you've been involved in a car accident, call me at 956-884-7113, and I'll get you into the end zone.